Want to talk about your weekend naturally and confidently? Stay with me and you'll learn simple phrases you can start using right away. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more simple and practical English tips. Here we go! Hey Liam, how was your weekend?
It was really nice, actually. A good mix of relaxing and being a bit productive, which is always great.
Wow, that sounds perfect. But I always feel stuck when someone asks me that. What should I say naturally?
That's common. Use chunks like, it was great, pretty chill, or kinda busy.
Interesting. So I don't need to explain everything in detail right away?
Yes, you don't need a long explanation at first. Just a quick impression, and then you can add more if the conversation continues.
Ha! That already feels easier. But why do I always try to translate everything?
That happens because your brain still follows your native language, so it looks for exact equivalents instead of ready-made English phrases.
Really? And does that affect my fluency a lot?
Yes, because translation slows you down and makes your speech sound less natural and more hesitant, you see?
Wow, I think I do that all the time. So what would be a natural way to start answering?
You can start with simple spoken chunks like, it was pretty relaxing, not bad at all, or super busy, honestly.
Interesting. And what about Friday night? How can I talk about that?
You can say things like, I just stayed in, I went out with friends, or I watched a movie and relaxed.
I usually say something like, I made a dinner in my house. Is that okay?
It's understandable, but more natural would be, I made dinner at home, or even simpler, I just cooked something at home.
Wow, that sounds much more natural, right?
Exactly. Native speakers prefer shorter and smoother phrases instead of direct translations.
So if I stayed home doing nothing, what could I say?
You can say, I just chilled at home, I took it easy, or I did nothing, honestly.
Interesting. I took it easy. It sounds natural.
Yes, and these chunks are what make your speech flow naturally without overthinking.
And what if I went out on Friday night?
You can say, I went out with some friends, I grabbed dinner, or I had a few drinks.
Wow, grabbed dinner sounds natural. What does it mean?
It means you went out to eat in a casual way, you see?
Interesting. So it's not literal, right?
Exactly. It's a common expression that helps you think in English.
So how can I talk about waking up late?
You can say, I slept in, which is very natural.
Wow, that's easy.
Exactly. It sounds more natural than I woke up late.
And breakfast?
You can say, I had a big breakfast, or I made pancakes, or I grabbed coffee.
I say I took a coffee. Is that wrong?
It's understandable, but natural English is I had coffee, or I grabbed a coffee.
Interesting. Small changes matter, right?
Sure, they improve fluency and confidence.
And chores.
You can say, I did some chores, or I cleaned, or I went grocery shopping.
Wow, that's useful.
Yes, it's a very common chunk.
And a busy Saturday?
You can say, it was pretty busy, or I had a lot to do.
That sounds simple.
Exactly. Simplicity is key.
And hobbies?
You can say, I went to the gym, or I played soccer, or I watched a series.
Easy to remember.
Yes, your brain learns patterns, not isolated words.
So grammar rules don't help much?
Yes, speaking comes from chunks, not rules.
Wow, I always try to be perfect.
And that creates hesitation.
Really? So perfection is actually a problem?
Yes, because you start overthinking instead of communicating naturally.
Interesting. So what should I focus on instead?
Focus on being understood and sounding natural, not perfect.
That feels more realistic.
Exactly. And that mindset builds confidence over time.
And what about Sunday? How can I talk about relaxing?
You can say, Sunday was super relaxing, or I just chilled, or I took it easy.
Wow, I see a pattern here.
Exactly. Repetition helps your brain internalize these expressions.
And what about preparing for Monday?
You can say, I got ready for the week, or I planned my week.
Interesting. That sounds useful for work conversations too.
Sure. These phrases work in both casual and professional contexts.
And what if I feel anxious on Sunday?
You can say, I had a bit of the Sunday blues, or I felt a little stressed about Monday.
Wow, that's very real, right?
Exactly, and expressing feelings naturally makes your speech more authentic.
And how do I talk about the best part of my weekend?
You can say, the best part was, and then complete the sentence.
That's easy. I like it.
Yes, simple structures help you speak more confidently.
And what about something unexpected?
You can say, something unexpected happened, or plans changed.
Interesting. That's very practical.
Yes, these are real-life conversation tools.
So, how do I end the conversation naturally?
You can say, what about you? Or, how was your weekend?
Wow, that's simple and natural, right?
Exactly, and it keeps the conversation flowing.
I feel like I'm starting to understand this better, but how do I practice?
Practice by repeating these chunks out loud and using them in real situations.
So I don't need to memorize long sentences.
Exactly. Short and natural phrases are much more effective.
And how long does it take to feel confident?
It depends, but with consistent practice, you'll notice progress quickly.
Wow, that's motivating.
Exactly. Confidence grows step by step.
So if someone asks me again, I can just say, it was pretty relaxing, right?
Exactly. And then add more details if you want.
Interesting. I think I'm ready to try.
That's the spirit. You see?
And you told me that chunks help, right?
Chunks are like shortcuts that your brain can use instantly without thinking too much.
Interesting. So can you give me more examples of chunks about weekends?
Of course. You can say, I just hung out, or I caught up on sleep, or I went for a walk.
Caught up on sleep sounds very natural.
Yes, and it means you rested more because you were tired during the week.
Wow, that's exactly what I do on weekends.
Exactly. And using these expressions makes your English sound real and fluent.
And what about talking about work during the weekend?
You can say, I had to work a bit, or I finished some tasks.
Interesting. So I don't need long sentences, right?
Yes, short and clear sentences are much more natural.
And what if I want to sound more professional?
You can still keep it simple, like, I wrapped up some work, or I prepared for the week.
Wow, wrapped up sounds advanced but natural.
Sure, it's natural because it's commonly used in real conversations.
I always thought I needed complex words.
That's a common mistake, but complexity often makes your speech less natural.
Really? So simple is better?
Sure, simple and natural always wins in communication.
And what mistakes do learners usually make when trying to sound perfect?
They overthink, use very formal language, and hesitate too much.
Interesting. Can you give me an example of formal versus natural?
Sure. Instead of saying, I spent my weekend in a very productive manner, you can say, I had a pretty productive weekend.
Wow! The second one sounds much better.
Exactly. It's shorter, smoother, and more natural.
And another example?
Instead of, I engaged in leisure activities, you can say, I just relaxed or I had some fun.
Haha, that's much easier.
Exactly. And easier means more fluent.
And what about hesitation? How can I reduce it?
Use fillers like actually, I mean, and you know to keep speaking while thinking.
Interesting. So fillers are not bad.
Exactly. They make your speech sound more natural and give you time to think.
Wow. I always thought pauses were better.
Long pauses break the flow, but fillers keep the conversation alive. You see?
And how can I practice speaking alone?
You can talk to yourself about your weekend using these chunks.
That sounds funny, but helpful.
It really works because you train your brain to think in English.
And what about real conversations at work?
You can keep it simple and natural, like, it was great. I just relaxed a bit.
Interesting. And if I want to ask back?
Just say, what about you? Or, how was yours?
Wow. That keeps it flowing, right?
Exactly. Conversations are about exchange, not performance.
And what if I make mistakes?
That's completely normal. Mistakes are part of the learning process.
Haha, I still feel embarrassed sometimes.
That's natural, but confidence grows when you focus on communication, not perfection.
Interesting. So confidence comes after action.
Sure, you build confidence by speaking, not by waiting to be perfect.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yes, and this is where most learners have their breakthrough.
I think I'm starting to feel that, really.
That's great, because now you're shifting your mindset.
And how can I respond naturally in different situations?
You can adapt simple patterns like, it was good, pretty busy, or super relaxing.
Can you give me examples for daily situations?
Sure, you can say, I just stayed home, I went out for dinner, or I met some friends.
And for work situations?
You can say, I rested a bit, I prepared for the week, or I caught up on emails.
Wow, that's very useful.
Sure, these are real phrases used every day.
And what if my weekend was not good?
You can say, it was okay, nothing special, or kind of stressful.
Interesting. So I don't need to hide that.
Exactly. Being honest makes your communication more natural.
And how do I add more details?
Just connect ideas like, it was good, I just relaxed and watched some movies.
That sounds easy.
Exactly. Simple connections create smooth speech.
And what about emotions? Should I include them?
Yes, you can say, I really enjoyed it, or I felt great.
Wow, that makes it more personal.
Of course, and that's how real conversations work.
I feel much more confident now, but what's the most important thing to remember?
Focus on using chunks, avoid translating, and speak naturally every day.
So if I practice daily, I will improve?
Exactly. Consistency is the key to fluency.
And what should I do the next time someone asks me about my weekend?
Answer simply,
naturally and confidently without overthinking.
So the goal is to communicate, not impress, right?
Exactly. Communication always comes first.
Wow, that really changes everything for me.
That's your transformation moment, you see?
So let me ask one last thing. What's the best way to finally speak English with confidence?
The best way is to practice every day using natural chunks and trusting yourself without translating.
That sounds simple, but powerful.
Exactly. Simple habits create strong results.
So I just need to speak more, right?
Exactly. Start small, stay consistent, and your fluency will grow naturally.
Wow, I'm actually excited to try this now.
That's the mindset that leads to real progress.
Thank you, Liam. This was really helpful.
You're welcome. And remember, just speak and trust the process. Exactly.
So, what should I learn next after this?
Next, you'll learn how to express your opinion naturally in English, which is the next step to sounding confident.
Wow, that sounds important, right?
Exactly, because sharing your opinion is what turns basic English into real communication.
Interesting. I want that.
So, click on the next video on your screen now, and let's keep building your fluency together.